The city's operating budget covers the services and programs that residents rely on, including education, public safety, transportation, and much more. The FY21 budget is a responsible and balanced budget that invests in our core needs and funds several investments in targeted areas like housing and public education. This level of spending will allow us to begin to account for the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, but also ensure a well-resourced city government. Overall, spending for FY21 is slated to rise by 4.4% or $154 million to $3.65 billion total. The major spending categories include city departments, the Boston Public Health Commission, public education, and fixed costs. While some departments will see increased budgets in FY21, overall, the total of city departments are approximately level funded between FY20 and FY21. To ensure the Public Health Commission's continued response to COVID-19, they are receiving a $9 million or 9.7% increase to $103 million for FY21. Public education will see the largest increase of $98 million or 7% to nearly $1.5 billion. And finally, fixed costs like pension and debt service will see an increase of $45 million or 10%. This chart looks at all city spending and how much each category makes up. The largest single slice continues to be public education at nearly $1.5 billion or 41%. City departments reflect the next biggest grouping, including $690 million or 19% on public safety, $335 million or 9% on city departments, $264 million or 7% on transportation, including the MBTA, and 7% or $260 million on city employee healthcare, which all departments access. Finally, the city is slated to spend about $507 million or 14% of the total budget on fixed costs like pension and debt service, consistent with our existing funding schedules. The city is projecting $154 million in new revenue for next year, the smallest amount in 5 years. This leaves little room for discretionary spending, as $98 million or 63% of all new funding goes towards increases in public education, both for the Boston Public Schools and charter schools. Fixed costs like pension and debt service are up about $27 million and $19 million respectively, or about $46 million total. And finally, the last increase is $9 million more for the Boston Public Health Commission. Beginning with fixed costs, pensions are up $27 million to $292 million total. This keeps us on pace to fully fund our pension by 2025. The city will continue to monitor the economic climate for effects on our pension fund. Debt service is up $19 million next year to $206 million total. This level of funding is crucial to maintain our $3 billion capital plan, which funds roads, bridges, parks, and schools in every neighborhood. City departments, when grouped together, total $1.55 billion. Salary, personnel, and health benefits represent nearly 75% of all costs by departments. Contracts and special appropriations like aid to veterans represent about 20%, and supplies and expenses make up the remaining 5%. On the personnel side, some unions have agreements through FY21, while some do not. We have reserved for some collective bargaining costs in next year's budget, but given where we are at the beginning of the negotiation process and the current economic uncertainty, this is likely something we will need to continue to monitor throughout the coming months. The city is always identifying ways to save funding in order to reinvest into new and better programs and services. This year, with limited resources, is especially important for that. For FY21, the city has identified $13.7 million in savings to implement in order to make targeted investments in other areas of government. These savings include $8.6 million through the recently negotiated Public Employee Commission insurance agreement for FY21 through 25. It includes $3 million in savings from a mandatory 1% cut to all departments from their non-personnel budgets. Finally, we have a few other savings like $750,000 through eliminating long-term vacant positions, $625,000 in savings from the first year of the Renew Boston Trust, and $550,000 from our recent debt service refinancing. Ensuring a robust public health commission is vital to meeting the health needs of our residents. The FY21 budget proposes a $9 million or 9.7% increase for BPHC and nearly $103 million total. This investment builds on years of investing at BPHC, which is up over 50% since FY2014. This level of investment will ensure a well-resourced health commission, emergency medical service, and Office of Recovery Services for next year as we continue to fight the effects of the coronavirus and address the public health needs of Boston. This level of investment will also include new funding to address violence prevention, health data, purchase essential EMS equipment, and pursue a low-threshold housing respite program. In good times and in times of economic uncertainty, public education continues to be the top priority for the city budget. The FY21 investment of $1.5 billion for the Boston Public Schools and charter schools reflects a long commitment to investing in our students. BPS will see an $80 million increase and a $17 million increase for charter schools. Since FY14, on an annual basis, BPS is up $320 million, and charter tuition is up $121 million, or about $440 million total. Per pupil spending is also up to over $22,000 at BPS, up from $16,000 in FY 2014. At the Mayor's State of the City address this year, he announced a $100 million investment in additive new funding over the next 3 years above and beyond standard cost increases. This 3-year commitment to BPS to provide new resources above and beyond standard cost increases allows for significant new resources immediately, long-range planning, and execution of the new strategic plan. FY21 is the first year of that investment, and despite the great economic uncertainty, this budget keeps that promise. The first phase of this commitment includes a FY21 city investment of $1.26 billion in BPS. This is an $80 million increase over FY20. Of the $80 million, $44 million covers the baseline cost increases, including student services, costs of collective bargaining, transportation, and operations. The remaining $36 million is dedicated towards new investments directly in classrooms, targeting the 33 transformational schools identified by the district. Those specific investments include $9 million more so students have a strong foundation for success and more support to connect families to resources and information, $12 million to increase teachers' skill through coaching and consistent feedback and developing high-quality curriculum, and $15 million to raise the bar on student learning with high-quality learning materials, resources, and improved learning environments. The other major State of the City announcement the mayor made was a $500 million transformational investment in housing. This investment starts with $100 million in city funding and would be supplemented with new dedicated funding from the sale of the Lafayette Garage in downtown Boston and the state passing the real estate transfer tax. This budget makes it a $16 million investment in new city operating and capital resources for housing, consistent with the mayor's commitment of $100 million in city resources over the next 5 years. This investment will create and preserve hundreds of new units next year, including new affordable home ownership, preserving rental opportunities, including the first city-funded voucher program, and Boston Housing Authority senior housing redevelopment. It also includes a new infrastructure fund to help support large-scale housing developments. In addition to the housing and education investments, the city has identified targeted investment areas funded through savings in other parts of the budget. They include $1.9 million to provide rapid rehousing for youth and young adults and expanding efforts to end chronic and family homelessness, $1 million for a citywide campaign targeting violence prevention, $630,000 to expand zero waste initiatives, including a meaningful composting pilot, education, and supports, $1.3 million for new staff, maintenance, and annual street tree plantings, and $900,000 in new funding for our most vulnerable residents, including the Human Rights Commission, Boston Saves, the Immigrant Defense Fund, language and food access, child care entrepreneurs, and financial security for seniors. This concludes the operating budget portion of the video. To learn more about the budget, including videos, featured analysis, and our open data portal, please visit our website at budget.boston.gov. Thank you.